Bienvenidos a Medellin, the city of the eternal spring. A city of 2.6 million people nestled within the Colombian Andes that is truly embodying what it means to be Colombian. We all know the city's past.
Carlos Galan knew he was a target.
From being the heart of the Colombian drug wars of the late 20th century to the tragic homicide rate that led it to be called the murder capital of the world. But what really makes Medellin stand out to the world is its transformation from its past to a booming city, quickly forming a reputation as a Colombian ambassador to the world, representing Colombian culture and its ongoing transformation. But while all of Medellin has its fascinating and tragic history and incredible rebounds, none exemplify that more than the area known as Comuna 13. A little background. So Medellin is divided into 16 districts known as comunas. The 13th comuna, known as San Javier, or simply Comuna 13 or Comuna 13, is a community of 134,000 on the western side of Medellin, densely packed on the side of a mountain that is known for its tragic history since the beginning to its hopeful future. So we're going over the history of the area of Medellin in general and different cartels and what happened here in around 2002. And I mean, I had known a little bit about it prior because I like to research things before I get here, but I mean, the certain extent and to actually be here is completely different. Now it's important to start at the beginning. In the 1950s, Medellin was truly starting to grow into the city that it is today. By the early 20th century, Medellin had grown from 20,000 people to over 360,000 in 1950. Even with that insane amount of growth, Medellin would continue to grow because as the sparks of the conflicts that Colombia became so famous for were starting to ignite in rural Colombia, as violence spread throughout the area, so did the influx of people that moved to Medellin. Colombia, however, was not ready for this growth, and as waves of people came in and all the space was taken up, people had to resort to building illegally built, poorly constructed homes on mountains that made up the valley that Medellin is located in. This led to the creation of what would become the 13th Comuna of Medellin. From its very beginning, the Comuna would face separation and isolation from the rest of Medellin, which would result in arguably the worst political and economic situation in the entirety of Medellin. As the Colombian drug war raged on, and the Cold War between the United States and the Soviet Union began to have its effects on Colombian society, Comuna 13 would become a crucial area to control for both the Medellin cartel and FARC militia groups, which are communist, anti-government groups that ran rampant throughout Colombia. This is because Comuna 13 is located in a strategic area in the Aburra Valley, which is the valley that Medellin is located in, which is a stopping point where a way that connects Medellin to the rest of Colombia through highways and was used as a main route from Medellin out of Colombia to the rest of the world. So whoever controlled this area controlled the Medellin cartel. However, this also was strategic for FARC because they could control who comes in and out of Medellin from this area. Comuna would go between factions of the Medellin cartel led by Pablo Escobar and the FARC rebels for decades. On October 16, 2002, 1,000 Colombian soldiers and police, with the help of 2 attack helicopters, approached Comuna 13 with the goal of ridding the Comuna once and for all of FARC rebels. After up to 4 days of heavy fighting, the Colombian government declared the operation a success. But what really happened is up to an intense debate. The true numbers of Operation Orion are still not known. The numbers that come out by the Colombian government and our studies and reports don't align. What we do know is at least 17 people died, hundreds injured, and hundreds missing. To this day, 20 years later, we don't know what happened to the majority of the people who went missing. Many say that they were killed off by the people who would come to control Comuna 13 after Operation Orion, while others believe that the majority of the missing people were disposed in the dump that's right on the side of Comuna 13 called La Escombrera, where to this day they have not been found. While the Colombian government considers Operation Orion a success, who really came into control of Comuna 13 is up to speculation. Thankfully, the story of Comuna 13 does not end here. Operation Orion, drug cartels, and paramilitary groups may be a thing of the past from the residents of Comuna 13. It still remains very alive in the minds of the people who lived there and experienced it. This day, efforts by the Colombian government and other groups have paid millions to connect Comuna 13 to the rest of Medellin through transportation and other infrastructure. This includes installing escalators that go all the way to the highest levels of Comuna 13, which have helped connect the paisas who live on the very tops of the community to access opportunities in the heart of Medellin. These escalators have also become a huge tourist attraction, which has boosted the economy in the Comuna as well. This is helped by the fact that the residents of Comuna 13 have adorned most of the walls that surround the escalators with beautiful graffiti that document the history and the experiences of the people that live there from before Operation Orion to Operation Orion and afterward. So the Comuna went from one of the most dangerous places in all of Medellin to the #1 tourist attraction in the entire city. While negative influences from criminal organizations are still probably felt in the Comuna to this day, the people of Comuna 13 have decided to look for a hopeful and positive future for their Comuna, for Medellin, and for Colombia as a whole. Check this out. So I'm trying to imagine living here, what it would be. I mean, the people here are very poor, obviously, and the situation is getting better, but it's still, with COVID and everything, it's so, the whole economy here was based on tourism, and when COVID hit, I can't imagine how it was affected. But contrasting how I live in Arizona in suburbs where all you see is houses versus this view. It's just completely different. It's amazing, but at the same time, you just gotta see it for yourself. You can't wrap your mind around it just by seeing videos.